Hello, assalamu alaikum, and namaste to all my lovely viewers out there. I am your pharmacist Sidra, and you are watching Ask Your Pharmacist. So as you guys know, I'm a licensed pharmacist in both Pakistan and US, and I've worked as a pharmacist in Pakistan for a very short time. And a lot of you want to know why I chose to work in US over Pakistan. Well, honestly, working as a retail pharmacist in Pakistan was nothing like what we are taught in pharmacy school. Like, the practical world of pharmacy was so different, and I feel like I wasn't really helping patients. So I decided to pursue my career as a pharmacist in US, and it was quite an adjustment, but honestly, it was worth it. So today I want to highlight and share the differences between the pharmacy setup in US and Pakistan. And I want to explain the loopholes in the healthcare system of Pakistan and many other countries because of which pharmacists honestly are not recognized there, and they're not actually able to provide the services in a proper way. And you'll be surprised to hear how much pharmacy world is different in Pakistan and US. And I hope this video is able to bring awareness and is like an eye-opening for the healthcare authorities in Pakistan, so they can at least consider changing the system. Because, sometimes a little twist is all you need. As far as I know, the Shaukat Khanum Hospital made by our Prime Minister Imran Khan actually acknowledges the importance of pharmacists and has a proper department of pharmacy like we have in US. So really my question is, why not have a proper pharmacy setup in the retail setting as well? As we continue to talk further, you'll know exactly why I feel that's important for the safety of our community. But for now, let's roll intro. So I really feel retail pharmacists are so underrated and unrecognized in Pakistan, while in America, pharmacists are often seen as a first-line resource to patients in providing answers to the health and pharmacy needs of the patients. And I've been getting so many questions on Facebook from people in Pakistan and India asking what is it like to be pharmacists in US. And yes, for those of you who don't know, I am on Facebook as well. And you know what? I recently celebrated 7,000 likes on Facebook, and it may not be a lot for many people, but for me, it is mind-blowing response in just 2 months. Anyways, here's the link, so go check that out. But wait, don't go just yet. You can go after finishing this video, okay? You can go afterwards. Anyways, so coming back on track. So on Facebook, a lot of people from Pakistan, India have been asking so many questions on medications and health issues. And honestly, I was just so amazed at the good response from Pakistan because frankly, a lot of people are unaware of the actual role of pharmacist. Some people confuse pharmacist with a doctor who can write a prescription or diagnose a health condition, while others have a completely different point of view. They actually question pharmacists using the title doctor with their name, as they have seen pharmacists just counting pills and selling medications at the medical store. That's true. I have seen that in Pakistan as well. But it's because pharmacists are not given opportunity to serve there. So sit tight with me till the end of this video, and I will tell you exactly what I and many other registered pharmacists do in US and how our role in pharmacy is different from Pakistan, India, and actually many other Middle Eastern countries. So to become a pharmacist, one must have a 5-year PharmD degree, which is a Doctor of Pharmacy degree in case you don't know. You can get into the pharmacy program after 2 years of college education with basically major in subjects like biology, chemistry, physics, and math. Now that's pretty standard anywhere around the world. However, in order to be licensed in US, you have to take 2 board exams as well. And if you are a foreign graduate, there are other exams and many other requirements that if you want to know, you can check out this video, and I'll also put the link for you in the description. Pharmacists have an extensive knowledge of prescription and over-the-counter medications, including how they work, how it affects the body, the side effects, and how they can interact with other medications you're taking. So in USA, physicians prescribe medications to their patients, and then the patients take their prescriptions, bring it to the pharmacist, who reviews the prescription for its accuracy, dispense the drugs, and also counsel the patient on how to use the medication. Now, this seems pretty basic and easy to too many people, even in US. People often don't understand what it takes to fill a prescription. So sometimes, like when a customer drops off a prescription at the pharmacy counter and the technician informs the customer that it may take about 20-30 minutes to fill the prescription, this is just like so funny that every once in a while we get to hear that, well, is it going to take you 30 minutes to count 30 pills? This is like a typical pharmacy joke. So it's not that people are unaware of the pharmacist's role just in Pakistan, but I'm surprised that even in US, people who are actually living within this healthcare system often don't understand what the pharmacist's role is. And they say that we're just counting pills behind the counter. So I really want to use this platform to spread awareness not only among people around the world, but also people in US. I mean, I want to show you a little bit behind the scenes and tell you what it takes to fill a prescription. So in Pakistan, you can simply walk into a pharmacy with a note or a prescription from your doctor, whatever you have, show it to a person behind the counter, which does not necessarily has to be a pharmacist, and that person is just gonna grab the medication, count the number of pills requested, and sell it just like that. No label necessary, no verification needed. Bring you at the register, and voila, you're out the door in 5 minutes. In US, we, the pharmacists, are strictly regulated, rather micromanaged by the law, and nobody is above the law here. So typically when you drop a prescription at any pharmacy in US, a technician or clerk will make sure that the prescription you're dropping off meets all the requirements, meaning there are certain requirements of the prescription paper you're dropping. Like you cannot bring in a doctor's note written on a plain piece of paper with no date, no signature, or can't just read the name of the medication off your text message on your cell phone that your buddy doctor sent you, which is totally unethical if you're doing it in Pakistan. I mean, we cannot do it here in US, but people do that in Pakistan all the time. You know, just raise your hand if anyone around here is guilty of reading the name of the medication prescribed on your cell phone and asking the pharmacy to give you that medication. Like, really, raise your hand. And you see, I have both of my hands raised because yes, I, even as a pharmacist, is guilty of doing that. Yeah, really. Just recently when I visited Pakistan earlier this year, I did that. But you know what? It is so wrong at so many different levels. Just don't do it because there could be a big medication error risk. And actually, I can tell you why. There have been so many instances where I and my colleague pharmacists have got dosage error, medication frequency error, and medication interaction on the prescription. And as a result, we contacted the doctor, got it fixed, and saved someone's life. Okay, so back to how we process the prescription. So once the technician verifies that prescription meets all the requirements, meaning it's not forged, it is signed and dated by the doctor, and in case it's a controlled medication, meaning which has high abuse potential, it is written on a special security pad. So once all those requirements are met, the technician will now scan the prescription. Okay, so now once scanned, the prescription is going to be typed. And when typing, a technician will make sure that the right drug is picked, right directions are typed, right date, right doctor, right number of refills, and so many other things go into account. And now once that's done, the technician is actually going to run it on insurance. Okay, now at this point, you may think that, hey, Sidra, what are you talking about? What's so big deal about typing a prescription or scanning a prescription? But you know what? This sweet little scene of dropping off a prescription may turn into a dramatic chaos if the technician becomes the bearer of the bad news and say, oh, I'm sorry, but your insurance doesn't pay for the medication, and you'll have to pay over $1,000 to get it today, which, just an FYI, is over a lakh Pakistani rupee. Because yes, the medications in US are so damn expensive that you have to get insurance. But you know, often insurance decides that they don't want to pay for the medication because doctor has written for an expensive medication when an alternative cheap medication is available. So in that case, we actually try to explain to the patient that they won't be able to get the medication unless your doctor gives the medical justification to the insurance company for prescribing an expensive medication. And you know what? This apparently is so hard for some people to digest, and they instantly say that, hey, but doctor is the one who prescribed the medication. Why do I need to wait? Or why do you need to contact the doctor to approve it? And literally then in a blink of an eye, the scene may turn into a hot ring where a customer thinks that the technician and pharmacist are the bad guys who are trying to hold the medication. But you know what? This is what it is. Insurance is paying for the medication, so they get to make the rules. You know, the thing is, the insurance actually wants the doctors to burn all the other cheap options first and then go for an expensive one. And when they're writing an expensive medication, they should be able to justify all the tried and failed cheaper options and give reason why they're prescribing an expensive medication. But you know what? Since the pharmacy people are at the front line, we get to be the bearer of the bad news and also patient's wrath. See, it ain't easy. Okay, but let's say your prescription is lucky enough to be covered by your insurance, has passed the typing stage, then it comes to me, basically your pharmacist, for a review. Now this is really a crucial stage, as now a pharmacist can literally help save the life of the patient. So when I and many other pharmacists are reviewing a prescription, we basically look at three main things. Number one being, has the right prescription typed for the right patient? Number two, is the medication dose and the frequency appropriate for the age and condition of the patient? And the third main thing is whether the prescribed medication is going to interact with other medications that patient is taking. Because honestly, you guys be surprised how often such mistakes occur. You know, and the mistake could be made by a doctor because he probably saw a million other patients and things just got mixed up. Or probably it's just a typing error made by a pharmacy tech, because trust me, these guys are running around at the speed of light in pharmacy and doing like million other things. Well, but the bottom line is the pharmacist's job here is to make sure everything looks fine on the prescription, because even a slightest mistake can sometimes kill someone. Like I remember once I came across a prescription of an antibiotic that a doctor had written for a 2-year-old, and it was literally 5 times more than the recommended dose. So I looked at it and I'm instantly like, no, I can't fill the prescription. I have to verify it with the doctor and make sure everything is good. So then I contacted the doctor and I got the patient's weight and age. And I'm like, you know, this dosage doesn't seem right. Would you consider changing it to so-and-so dosage, because that's more like a recommended dosage? And the doctor instantly was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you got it, because he was like, I don't know how this happened. This is so wrong. Anyways, long story short, we adjusted the dosage and dispensed the right medication. And actually the mom of the child was waiting in the pharmacy lobby and she saw the whole process happening, and eventually she was just so thankful, and she was also like shook at the same time, because she was like, what if you didn't catch the mistake and we dispensed that dosage? It would have killed my child. And I, you know, tried to calm her down and I kind of explained the whole process, and she was pretty relaxed afterwards. But she was just so thankful to me for catching that mistake. And she kept on saying, oh my gosh, you're an angel, you saved my baby's life and all. But you know what? It's not that the doctor made that mistake on purpose. It was just like an unconscious overlook. See, we're all human and we all make mistakes. But you know, since one single medication error can be life-threatening, therefore, the healthcare system in US has pharmacists in place to double-check everything. Because you know what? Sometimes a second set of eyes is all you need to save somebody's life. And this is exactly what's lacking in the retail pharmacies of Pakistan. So basically, when a prescription is reviewed by the pharmacist before dispensing, we make sure that we don't overlook any mistake, be it wrong dosage, wrong frequency, or simply just the prescribed medication may not be fit for the health condition of the patient. So basically, when we are reviewing a prescription, we are considering all these things in our mind. And then in the final product verification, which is when a technician fills the prescription, it comes back to the pharmacist, we bag it, and we actually at that point once again verify that the right medication goes in the right bag and their labeling looks good, directions look good. It has all the auxiliary label which tell that what are the serious warnings, like do not drive, do not consume alcohol, or any other serious warnings that the patient must be aware of. Another important point is that when we are filling prescriptions here, we actually keep the hard copy, like the prescription paper that the patient brought in. And once we fill the prescription, we get to keep that. We don't return that prescription back to the patient. This is basically done to avoid duplicate filling. That's basically a part of the process where we control how much medication a person can have. Because honestly, medications are no candy. It's not like your Snickers candy bar. We as a pharmacist make sure that the medication is actually going in the right hand, in the right amount, and in a way that it's not going to harm the patient. That's why we also provide counseling to the patient when dispensing the medication. We make sure the patient is aware of the adverse reactions from the medication. And we also provide a medication guide when any medication has like serious outcomes. So the patient can actually read the medication guide and get to decide for themselves whether they want to take this medication or not, or are actually aware of any side effects or potential hazards from the medication, just so in case any of those side effects or adverse reactions occur, the patient is aware that this is because of the medication. It's not a new health condition patient is going through, right? So patient education is very, very important, and the pharmacist actually plays a key role in that. Basically, we as a pharmacist are liable for whatever we dispense. If we don't warn our patients about the risk associated with the medication, and let's say something serious happens, people can probably sue us for millions of dollars. And sometimes that is it for our career, and we don't want that to happen. We are actually there to save your life. So really, when you go to a pharmacy to fill a prescription, understand that you're not giving us a grocery list in the form of prescription that we can just go grab it, give it to you, and you're out the door. We're there actually as a last resort to catch the medication errors before the medication is actually in your possession.
Want to find out the answer? Well then hurry up and join me in the part 2 of this video. Come on, click it now, I'm waiting.